Oh my God, we're back. Hey guys, it's Kevin again here with.
I'm Aly.
Yes. And you guys probably thought we were done after the Nightmare Alley review, but we were originally supposed to do two other videos in person together. Unfortunately, I had to leave before we were able to film them in person, but I figured, you know what, we already have these two videos planned, so we might as well just go ahead and still film them together. We have this one, and then we have another one planned. I'm not sure when that one's going to come out, Aly, but hopefully it comes out soon. But anyway, without further ado, what are we reviewing today?
We are reviewing Being the Ricardos, which we watched in person together.
Yes, we did. So this movie, just getting into it a little bit, basically, of course, it does center on the true story of the I Love Lucy cast, specifically centered around Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. Basically, they are in production for a typical week of I Love Lucy, but in the middle of them doing the table read, all of these allegations start to come out about Lucy, which could potentially ruin her career and alter her life forever. And then at the same time, a lot of accusations start to come out about Desi and him potentially being unfaithful to her, which really does test their relationship. And basically, they now have 1 week to try to clear all of this up and hopefully still put the show together, which could potentially be their last show ever. So I was very excited going into this film. You know, something I haven't really talked about, on this channel. I'm not sure if I talked about it during the movie preview. I might have, but I'm actually a pretty big fan of the source material that this is based upon. I Love Lucy, I think, is a really great sitcom. It's very timeless in that way. It's actually my mom's favorite show, and so it's one that I've seen a good amount of because of that. And so I actually do have a lot of exposure when it comes to I Love Lucy as a property, more so than other things I've talked about, other sort of biopics that have come out. So I was definitely excited when this was announced. I was a little bit skeptical at some of the casting choices. I just wasn't really sure how that was going to go. Some of the marketing wasn't my favorite either. But as a whole, I was still really looking forward to this. Now, I want to hear your perspective, though, because you obviously didn't know much about the source material going into this. So what were your general impressions going into this film?
Yeah, I've never really watched I Love Lucy, but this movie definitely makes me want to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
And obviously I was just like excited because obviously like I love Nicole Kidman and everything. So I was just excited to like see what this was all about, and it really like surprised me.
Yeah, I definitely will echo that as well. This is yet another movie that is very divisive in 2021 that I enjoy quite a bit. I think this film is a lot better than people are giving it credit for. Being the Ricardos may not be the straightforward, textbook type look at like Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz that I think a lot of people wanted, but I think this is still a very revelatory and very fascinating look at what was really going on behind the scenes, but also doing a really good job of just examining these people as a whole. And really is one of those films where after watching, I'm like, what was I even worried about? You had Aaron Sorkin at the helm, you had some really great actors in play. So yeah, I enjoyed this quite a bit, a lot more than other people seem to, but we're just going to go ahead and get into it right now. Now, I think one of the big things going into this film, and I'm sure you will agree with me, is just the casting of both Javier Bardem and Nicole Kidman. I think just having both of them in there, that's something that I think we were both very excited about. Obviously, these are two people that we know can act very well. And so you put them in pretty much anything, they're probably going to give really solid performances. And thankfully, that is very much the case here. I think, let me find a picture first, and then I can get more into it. So hold on.
Yeah, this cast, especially Nicole and Javier, they definitely killed it. Nicole Kidman usually kills it all the time, and then Javier was just amazing too.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the photo that I want. Hold on. perks of doing this on StreamYard is that I have to find this shit and not just edit it in later. But whatever, we're gonna do the best we can with this. Let me find it. Oh shit, where is it? Where's the picture?
The picture is behind your head.
No, it is not. Okay, there it is. I found it. I found it. Okay, so in order to, where is it? I need to turn something off first. That needs to get turned off because in order for me to show the picture, we have to turn our cameras off. Because otherwise, there we go. Yeah, they both do, I think, a really strong job here for sure. Both of them, I think, really do transform into these roles. These are iconic actors, and I think both of them do a really solid job. I know there was a lot of skepticism around Nicole Kidman's casting because, well, we're worried it's going to be Nicole Kidman and that she's going to act too much like Nicole Kidman, but I think she did enough work here to where I didn't really notice her in this role. I think the mannerisms of Lucille Ball, she got down very well, but also really captured the more like serious side of her. And that's something I think a lot of people don't know about is that Lucille Ball was a very like serious woman in real life. This was not just
Yeah.
like a funny lady. She took things very seriously. She has a lot of passion. And when she, gets these allegations, she's massively affected by it, obviously, but even more so than you really would think. The show really means a lot to her, more so than it does to even the producers. I mean, it matters a lot to her and her input and things like that. I think she just captured all of that so well. I think there's one scene in particular where you really just see how much this is affecting her. And I thought she just did such an amazing job in this film. Just little mannerisms here and there. I thought all of that was captured so well here. And I was very impressed by her performance. What did you think of Nicole Kidman in this film?
I thought she really got into character and
Oh, yeah.
gave it her all. Obviously, I don't know much about Lucille Ball, but
Yeah.
she just from what I know and everything, she did a really good job and pretty much all the time, she always kills her role. She's just one of the best actresses for sure.
Yeah.
And she was just amazing and she was one of the best parts of this movie.
Yeah, I think she definitely really did kill it. And honestly, I would definitely be behind the Oscar nomination that's probably coming her way. I think that she definitely did enough to deserve it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Javier Bardem. There's a lot of what?
I'm here for that.
Yes. Let's talk about Javier Bardem because there's a lot of controversy surrounding this role. I'm not sure that you know, but basically the second this role was announced, a lot of people were upset because of the fact that he isn't Cuban and that they felt that this should be played by a Cuban actor. And obviously, I don't have a lot of room to speak about that because I'm not Cuban myself, so I'm not really going to get too much into that whole thing. But I know there was something a lot of people were worried about. But as a performance, I think he did a really good job. I think he captured who Desi Arnaz was very well. Again, the passion that he put into this role. But also the care that he had for Lucy, even though it's pretty unclear in this movie if he is being faithful to her. You can see that at the end of the day, he did care about Lucy. He did want to help her through this situation, and he cared about how this whole thing was affecting him. And so I think he did portray this role very well. I think especially there's a lot of flashbacks in this movie. Those are really the moments I felt he shined in the most. So I overall was a pretty big fan of Javier Bardem. Was he maybe the best casting for this role? I'm not sure about that, but I think for what he did here, he definitely did a really good job.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say he was the best for this role, but I mean, from what he did, he killed it and he did a great job. Just he got right into character and he showed that emotion really well.
Definitely.
And I just thought from what we saw, he did what he could and he gave it his all and he really got into the character.
Yeah, from the second I think these two emerged on screen, I really did feel their chemistry. I thought they really did bring these roles to life, and I overall was impressed by both of them here. So I don't really have too many complaints when it comes to the two of them. I thought overall, like I said, I think they were pretty well cast in this film. But someone I really want to talk about that I don't think is getting enough credit here is Nina Ariadna, who does, of course, play Vivian Vance in this film, which I'll get into more of the writing. There's a lot I did not know about her, and I think she
Mhm.
plays that role very well in this film. I feel like she really
Yeah.
got into just the emotional trauma that Vance went through as an actress. There's a lot I did not know about her, and she did an amazing job with that here. There are many moments in this movie where you watch her and you forget that it's Nina Ariadna. I felt like out of everyone, she looked the most like Vivian Vance. She played that role. She played that actress very well. And I really did love her in this movie a lot. I don't think she's getting enough credit, but I really liked her in this film.
Yeah, I thought she did a great job. Just wow, like her genuine connection and the emotion and like you said, the trauma, that was just so
Yeah.
real.
Oh, yeah.
And she just really killed it.
Yeah. And then J.K. Simmons, let's talk about him because, yeah, he doesn't necessarily look like William Frawley. He does look like J.K. Simmons in this movie. But I think for the type of role he's playing, he did a really good job with that. I thought that he provided some really nice comedic relief. I thought he embodied the actor Frawley very well. And overall, I was impressed by his performance. I think J.K. Simmons, he's just such a fun actor in that way. There's not really a lot you need to do to really make him work in a movie. This film just kind of lets him be J.K. Simmons. And while I don't think that's as impressive as, say, the last three, the previous three performances, I do think overall he was really fun in this movie. So I can't really complain too much about him either.
Yeah, I thought he was perfectly cast and
Yeah.
definitely one of the best parts of this film, and he, like, really was, like, the heart of it, and
Well, I wouldn't
he
say the
just
heart. I'd say the heart's more Nicole Kidman, but
well,
yeah.
her too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, for, like, the other roles. But
Yeah.
yeah, he did a great job, and he was just wonderful.
Yeah, I thought he was really fun in this movie. I think really the entire cast, everyone does a really solid job here. Alia Shawkat, I thought was a really big standout too as one of the
Yeah.
writers in this film. I really liked what she ended up doing. I think all of the acting was really strong here. Let's talk about Aaron Sorkin's directing because I know that's something a lot of people are very 50-50 on these days because they don't think that he is as good of a director as he is a writer. I think overall he did a good job in directing this movie because he really did give this film like an authentic nature. It felt like, yes,
Mhm.
there are obviously a lot of things that he added into this movie. Like, for example, everything we're seeing, this did not happen in a week. These were all like different events that happened over time, but I got what he was trying to do. And I thought overall he did a really good job. There's a lot of choices that he made with this film. And
Mhm.
like I said, yeah, I was taken aback by them at first, but I felt that it helped tell the story in the most effective way possible. So I don't really have too many issues when it comes to his directing overall. I think he still does do a pretty strong job here. Like I said,
Mhm.
he definitely has passion for this film. You definitely feel that through his directing. I think he is connected to this story, but he also what I liked about is that he doesn't try to tell a straightforward biopic. He tries to put his own little
Mhm.
spin on it. And so because of that,
Yeah.
I can't say that like his directing is subpar and that he's just kind of like going through the motions. I can't really get behind that because I do feel he is doing something different here and I appreciate that. So yeah, I enjoyed Aaron Sorkin's directing in this film. Sue me.
Yeah, I didn't dislike his directing either. Like, this film doesn't really have a lot of flaws for me.
Yeah,
Like, his directing, I thought it was good and, like, very different and unique,
yeah,
and,
definitely.
like, I thought he did a great job in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we'll get more into the writing here. As a whole, obviously I knew a lot about I Love Lucy going into this, But this particular story is not one I was aware of. I had no idea about this whole Red Scare thing that happened with Lucille Ball, and also just like how detrimental it could have affected her career. I didn't know about any of that. And I think this film covers it very well. You know, there's a lot of implications of what could really be going on. I think the way this film like gradually gets into it, I think is really well done. And I've seen a lot of people say that the film feels unfocused because there are so many allegations happening at once. Not only do we have that going on, but like I said, we have the fear that Desi might be cheating on Lucy. There's pictures that were released and she's unsure if he's like really being faithful to her. So you can see that that's happening to her. And then there's also something else that's happening that I'm not going to get into because they didn't really cover it in the trailer, but I was really surprised they implemented it into the film. But I thought everything worked out very nicely because you see how this is affecting all of these actors, but also just not just how much it's affecting them, but how much it is affecting their craftsmanship. Like Lucille Ball in particular is really working tooth and nail in this film to make sure that the episode that they're about to make turns out to be the best one they've ever done, because it could potentially be their last one. And when you really think about that, I mean, it's insane to think about, because obviously we know I Love Lucy lasted 6 seasons. So we know obviously going into this film, they're not going to go off the air. We know that's not going to happen, but it's the fear and the worry that these characters have that really draws you in. And I thought overall they did a really good job with that. You know, you kind of forget that, you know, they are going to stay on the air and things like that, and that this is going to work out for them. So I thought overall they still did I thought Sorkin as a whole, he still did a really good job in conveying that narrative, and especially like the sort of breakneck feel of it all, where it's like, oh my God, we got to get all of this done in a week, even though that's not accurate to what actually happened. I actually thought it heightened the story. So I didn't really have too many complaints with that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought the writing was like really well done.
Yeah.
Like they really like showcased what actually like happened, and it was just very real and authentic, and really no flaws and not really many mistakes in my opinion with this film.
Yeah.
The writing was just very like creatively unique, and like just they put their own little twists, but they also stuck with the actual story.
Yeah, something else I really liked about the writing in this film is that this film really does dive deep into some of the personal issues that were going on for Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, and especially Vivian Vance. You know, with Lucille Ball, like I said, I already touched upon how she was someone that was this very like headstrong woman. She was always like down to business. She wanted things to go in a certain way. She cared so much about what was going on. She was just as much of she was just as dedicated like behind the scenes as she was in front of the camera. And I really did like to see that here. And then with Desi Arnaz, you really do see how he also was someone that was frequently belittled. A lot of people didn't really always give in to what he wanted. There are things that he wants in this movie, and you can see at first he is kind of being outshined because, well, the times and things like that. And I thought that they dived into that pretty well. But the one that really stuck out to me was Vivian Vance. I had no idea some of the stuff she was going through in this movie. I didn't, and I don't want to get into it too much because it's not like stuff that a lot of people knew about. Even my mom didn't know about, who, like I said, this is like her favorite show, and she didn't even know about it. And I thought that the film overall captured it very well. There's a lot that Vance is dealing with, like personally, through I Love Lucy, and because of the way her character has to act, her character has to feel, and you can see that this is really having an impact on her. And there's one scene where she kind of just like breaks down, and you really do see how much this affected her. And I really liked getting into that. I liked seeing just like some of the behind the scenes drama that was happening in this film. That's something that always excites me when it comes to movies like this. But I think this film overall did a really good job. Not only that, but also like added new layers to the legacies of these actors. You know, I respect Vivian Vance a hell of a lot more than I did going into this. I already did, but especially going after watching the movie. Where's the echo? There was an echo for a second.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, weird.
But especially like after watching this movie, like I respect her even more so than I did knowing what she had to go through. And I thought all of that was handled very well in this film.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Like they just like really like brought out that emotion and like their passion, and like
Yeah.
the story had like a lot of comedy, but it also had a lot of like trauma and emotions.
Yeah, that
So like
the dialogue obviously is really great because it's Aaron Sorkin,
yeah.
and
Oh
he
yeah.
does have a lot of
Dialogue.
yeah, I think this film definitely does remind you just how great of a writer Aaron Sorkin is when it comes to dialogue.
Yes.
I mean, it's still razor sharp here. There are a lot of fun moments, especially banter between, which this I'm sure a lot of people know. Vivian Vance and William Frawley did not get along at all, and the film really does play around with that quite nicely. So that's something I really did appreciate. In terms of flaws with the writing, I will say those are really where my only flaws are. There are two flaws I do have with this movie. One of them is kind of a problem, one of them's not. The first one I will say is that this film does jump around a lot. And at points can make the narrative feel a bit disjointed. You know, while we do have the story going on with the behind the scenes drama, the other half of this movie is almost like a fake documentary of sorts, where we're basically getting more insight into like Lucy and Desi's humble beginnings. And it's not that I thought this portion of the movie was unnecessary, but I felt like the way it was done, I think they could have done a better job with. But I still thought overall they did a good job of really showcasing that story and why these two are together and contrasting that with where they are in the current state of the film. You know, I think they did a good job with that to show why these two got together, why their relationship is so important. I thought that was well done. So I don't have too much of an issue with that. What I do have an issue with is that, like I said, the other half of this movie is like this fake documentary, but this fake documentary is concerning all of the like producers and writers that were a part of I Love Lucy. And it's a really strange choice because it's not the actual people. Obviously, they're dead, so they can't really do a
Yeah.
documentary about them. And I
They had to
understand that.
they had to like get people to be them.
Yeah, they had to get like fake actors. Well, not fake actors, but you know, other actors to portray them, which I thought was an interesting idea. My issue is that these writers, aside from just being writers and producers, they don't really play that major of a part in this film. They're really just kind of here
Yeah.
to like be the writers. They're the producers. They're the ones that are getting affected by this. They don't know how this is going to like affect the network and things like that. But like aside from that, I would say Alia Shawkat, we get a little bit more with. We kind of get the sense that like she's a woman ahead of her time. She wants to focus more on, you know, progressive issues and things like that, which, you know, obviously isn't as welcome by network, but like Jake Lacy's character especially has nothing to do. So I don't know why we focused on him in the documentary. And then Tony Hale is just kind of like, he's the ignorant producer. Like that's his character. He's the showrunner who like, he likes to negotiate things and that's kind of it. So I don't know. I just found that part of the movie kind of superfluous, to be honest with you. I didn't really feel that it played that much of a role in the story. And I felt like they could have just given it more of a reason to be there. I like what Sorkin is trying to do, where he's trying to make some of it feel like a documentary, but it's not actually a documentary. I think that's a really interesting approach. I'm just not sure if it overall worked for me. So that's the one thing that I do think brings this movie down.
I actually thought the documentary portion was like a nice touch, but I mean,
Mhm.
I do like my only really flaw was that it didn't exactly have to be there at points. But I mean, I thought
No.
it was nice. It was like definitely a nice touch and something different for like for this movie. But obviously, like some parts, it wasn't really needed.
Yeah, I
But it
felt like
was definitely,
there were
but
points where they easily.
it was definitely like very like delightful and pleasurable. It was just like that was really my only flaw. Just that some points it just wasn't needed.
Yeah, I thought they could have done a better job of like really like implementing like those flashback scenes without the need for the documentary stuff. I think we could have easily just gotten there, and I think the movie would have flowed just a little bit better. But overall, like I said, I think the writing is very strong here. It's another really strong
Yes.
screenplay from Aaron Sorkin. The cinematography, I think, is overall really good here. I think the way that they recapture the 50s time period. It's really well done in that
Yeah.
way, and I really did appreciate that. But also the way they recreate certain scenes of I Love Lucy, I thought was really well done with the black and white and whatnot. It really did feel like you were watching those scenes. And obviously, when you see Nicole Kidman, it's very obviously Nicole Kidman. Like this is
Yeah.
not Lucille Ball. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is I think they did a good job of recreating some of those sequences. So I overall was impressed by the cinematography here. I know some people have said it feels kind of like a made for TV movie, and I wouldn't really go there at all. I think there definitely was a lot of craft put into the cinematography, and I thought they did a really strong job with it.
Oh yeah, I thought the cinematography was great. It was
Yeah,
like just very amazingly done, and just they did such a good job with that.
yeah, very
And it
well
was just
shot.
like it was just very like yeah, very well shot, very real,
Yeah.
like not fake or anything.
Yeah, the score as well is pretty good here. And then this movie is over 2 hours long, but I really didn't feel the length, to be honest with you. I feel like this film did kind of fly by overall, and I didn't feel that it was over long like some people are overall saying. So at the end of the day, I mean, I think this film worked a lot better for me. The ending as well is easily one of my favorite endings of the year. Just the way they wrapped everything up, it really kind of has this like sort of melancholy feel to it, and knowing what happened like after this scene, I thought just made it all the more powerful in that way. So overall, yeah, I enjoyed Being the Ricardos a lot. I think that it's not a perfect film. There are some sections that I think makes the film a bit disjointed. There's part of the movie that I felt could have been cut out altogether, but I think the performances are very strong here. Nicole Kidman, Javier Bardem, Nina Arianda, especially those three really do anchor this film as a whole. I think Aaron Sorkin did a really good job in directing something that's a little bit more unconventional than your typical biopic, and I really did appreciate that. I think that it overall does a good job at paying tribute to these actors. It takes some liberties with some things, which I'm not sure how some people are going to react to. But overall, I really did enjoy this film. I thought it gave us that deep dive into these characters that we really did need. No, it might not be as straightforward as some people might want, but I really did appreciate the risks that were being taken here. And so overall, I can say at the end of the day, I was a pretty big fan of this film. So I am going to give Being the Ricardos overall an A minus.
um, I love the score, and I didn't really dislike much about this movie besides like certain documentaries parts that didn't need to be there. But
Yeah.
overall, I really enjoyed this film. I'm probably gonna go back and watch all of I Love Lucy at some point
Yes.
so I can really like know more of the story and everything. But I really enjoyed this, and I'm very excited that we watched together. And I rated it an A on my letterbox, which I'm gonna stick with that.
Hold on. So I can put that in. Where's the rating?
Sorry.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Oh. So other than that, that's it for our review of Being the Ricardos. I'm very happy we were able to get this done. We watched this movie a little
I
bit ago, and
know.
we just haven't had the time to film the review until now, but I'm glad we were able to finally get it done. As always, if you enjoy Aly being on this channel, look forward to a conversation with Kelly. We did finally do our finale for Survivor, and our Ascendance coverage is coming soon as well. The finale for that,
Yeah.
that is coming
Yeah,
soon.
we have
So
to do we just have to cover the last two
yeah,
episodes of Ascendance.
yeah,
And
that's it.
stay tuned for more.
Yeah, definitely. Also, you can follow her at AlyCatXO on Twitter. Also, I believe that's your letterbox as well. If you want to follow her over there.
Um Yes, it is.
All right, yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, you can follow her at Aly Kossan on both of those things. I do have a few more videos coming before the year does end, so definitely be on the lookout for those. We do have one other video we're going to be doing together. You'll know what it is when you see it. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We will see you guys in our next video, and we will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.
Bye. Have a good night.